In this video, we're going to learn how to make your shapes and as opposed to make them move. So we're actually going to take apart your connection points on here to manufacture them. Probably be good to make a copy at this point. So we're going to go M for move copy. And we're going to copy components, this guy, and create copy. And let's see, well, let me do this. Create copy here. Might use this second feature so they all stay in a plane. I'm going to pull this down, and then M for move copy. Click on this one and create copy. And I'll pull this one down too. And then hopefully that keeps them in the same plane as they were before. So to laser cut, it's pretty simple. You can just use move copy commands to grab this item and move it into a good orientation with the other one so that they're using an efficient amount of space. And then click OK. Then you can go to start a sketch on the surface, capture position if it asks you, and then P for project include, or create project include project, and then you can select this piece and click OK. Now, an outline of these pieces is saved in your sketches under the most recent sketch. When you hit Finish Sketch, in Sketch 5 here, you'll see you've got a full outline of everything. You can just right-click on that and say Save as a DXF and take it to the laser cutter to make it. Now, to get the CNC cut parts of these items, it needs to be a little bit more carefully designed. So I'm going to turn off that sketch now and look at this from the side. And I can see that these are pretty closely aligned. It's pretty easy for me to go M for move copy and click on this one and move it one notch to the right, or in this case a few, depending on what your zoom is. But really you want to go in that direction half an inch because that's the thickness of the material. And then these are ready to make on the CNC router. The CNC router is going to allow you to cut something that's a half an inch thick, like your actual parts, as opposed to the 1/8 of an inch that you're going to get on the laser cutter. Now to make these, we'll switch from design to manufacture. In manufacture, we're going to go setup, new setup. Setup tells the machine where the parts are and where your axes are. So first we're going to select our parts in the first window here, which is just these two parts here. We want to orient our axes so that the Z is going up. To change that, you click on the pointy end of the Z arrow. If you need to orient it with something, you can also orient it with a line. In that case, it's going the wrong way, so I'm going to reorient it back with any vertical line like that. And then I need to switch it by clicking on the pointy end to go up. Now I can place this in the bottom corner so that my X and my Y and my Z are all emanating from the bottom corner of the design. Check your stock. Make sure your stock side offset probably should be set to 0 for this, and your stock top offset should also be set to 0. And this is how much stock you'll need to know. You need to write these two numbers down in order to make sure that you have enough room on the machine to cut your parts. Also make sure that your stock height is 0.5 so that your parts are carefully aligned in the same plane. And click OK. Now, to get your tool paths, we're going to use a special bit for this that cuts with more detail, an 1/8 inch bit as opposed to a 1/4 inch bit. So I'm going to go back to our Schoology page and download my example right here. Click once on that, click again on that, and then switch to Fusion before opening it. Now go to File, Open, and Open from my computer. And we're going to go to Excavator Example Manufacturing. So this looks a lot the same because it's also my example file, but it already has the toolpaths in it. Under Setup, you'll click on these two, hold Shift to select both of them, right-click, and copy. And then back to your own file, right-click, and paste. You'll have to hit OK for the warning, and you'll have to click the down arrow in order to be able to see your toolpaths. right click on the first one and edit it. Go to your geometry tab, second tab, and this one's for all the holes. So I'm going to click here and here, etc. Anything that's an interior cut and a hole that you want to cut, you should click on right there. You may not want to include your pivot holes. It might be easier to drill those later, or you can include them if you'd like to. And I didn't select everything here, but you can go in and select all the holes that you want to cut, and then click OK. The bit won't be able to get in very small openings, but all of those it will be able to get into. So you can see then it previews the toolpath that's going to cut those out. Separately, in the next one, we cut out the outside contours of our entire pieces, and the reason is because you don't want them to move while you're cutting the holes in the middle. So click OK when you're done with that. To get this to the machine, right-click on Setup 1, Post Process. It should say ShotBot open here. If you haven't done this before, let me know and I'll help you. But you basically go in here to the folder and search for SBP and find not HandyBot but ShotBot open and select. You'll ask you where you want to put it. Select the local folder to save it to your computer and click copy to my posts. Post processing is just creating the actual code that the machine will use. Change this to your name and what it is. And it's good to include here the size of your stock. So I need 7 by 7 for the x equals 7 by y equals 7 to cut this out. And then select your flash drive here in order to get it to the right place. I'm going to put it in my downloads because I don't have a flash drive right now. And click post. All right, there's that post, and you can take it over to the machine and make sure you write your name on the list to cut it out, and we'll go get it cut out. All right, that's it. Show me when your parts are completed, and I'll put your name in I'll put your grade in the grade book.